if there was like one or two, maybe three big simple things that a seller would want to make sure that they included, or that would make their note better, so to speak. I mean, they could maybe capture a little bit more of a premium or something when they're selling that note. What would those be in your mind? Because that's immediately where my mind went.
Yes, very simple. And I'm just going to blurt them out. No offset language, or very little offset language in the contracts, both in the asset purchase agreement or the promissory note. Personal guarantee, if it's an entity. Obviously, if it's an individual, it's built in. And number three, language in the asset purchase agreement or promissory note that allows the seller to request anywhere between 1 and 4 times a year, preferably 2 to 4 times a year, financials of the borrower to make sure that the borrower/buyer is not running the business into the ground. Those are the three immediate things. And then we can talk about, you had mentioned leases. That also comes into play too. It can get a little bit more nuanced, but just to kind of touch on what you said about leases is if we see a deal and it's, let's say, not a new deal, right? So this has happened, in real life here. So we see a deal, we see that the lease, let's say the loan is a 60-month amortization, fully amortized, and it's, 8 months in, 10 months in. But what they forgot to do or failed to do is there is a lease expiring in the next 4 months. And we're looking at that, we're saying, okay, well, let's say that there's no renewal on that lease, right? For whatever reason. There usually is, but let's just say there isn't. We're going to have thoughts about that in the underwriting process, right? Because that can significantly interfere with our monthly, with receipt collecting that payment. Is especially if it's a brick and mortar business, if they have nowhere to kind of set up shop. I'm not saying it's a dead deal, but we're definitely going to want to dig in, double click on that, maybe speak to the landlord or communicate with the current landlord, which is tough because if there's no language in the contract compelling the buyer to do that, it's really like, and we get it done, but it's tough.